Hi everyone, it's Christina TnT, your host of TnT Talks. Today we have Lisa Brumm bringing you a 20-minute conversation on igniting motivation in life and business through the COVID-19 crisis. Hi Lisa.
Hey, how you doing, Christine?
Oh, it's great. It's beautiful weather. I hope it looks like you got some sunshine there too.
It's trying to peek out from some clouds, yes.
Good. So Lisa, tell our audience a little bit about what you do in your profession and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. I am CEO and founder of My Financial Girlfriend, and we are a full-service financial planning firm. So everything the traditional financial firm does, but I always say plus more. We're just as much the financial experts. We've been in business. I've been doing financial planning for 22 years, I guess 23 if we can go to July, and then I've had my 23rd anniversary. And we're just as much the girlfriend. So we tell it like it is. We want to give people the straight scoop on what is the best next move. And sometimes it's opening up a checking or savings account, or it's, getting that credit card to establish your good credit. Or we start with I always say, roll up our sleeves. We get in the weeds with people and really just help them really calculate and strategize about what and how their money could be more efficient and more plentiful and less taxed and investment and grow wealth. So we do it all.
Wow. Okay. So you're not just a financial advisor, you're an overall professional coach, mentor of all of it.
Everything. It's because of my background. I think because I went to Portland State here in Portland with a French degree. I thought I was going to just speak French for the rest of my life and eat brie cheese and drink wine and maybe be a teacher. Who knew, I ended up having to take one of those silly things called an elective class, and it was an accounting 101. And I thought, well, I know how to use a calculator and I like numbers, so maybe that will be a good class to get an easy A in or something. And I ended up realizing, I guess this is maybe more in retrospect, like looking back, like, why did I choose that class? But it really clicked. Like, I feel like the creative side and all the language came out of my, creative juices. I don't know if I think that's left brain, right? And then the right brain, the money and the accounting and the reconciliation and the balancing and the hunting down to find where the error was in the math of it all really fascinated me, because I really just love that practical, analytical side of my brain too. So it's kind of like the two blended together, thinking that who doesn't need a French-speaking CPA, right? And then your life kind of after school, I ended up working for an accounting firm for a year and realized I really just didn't like putting spreadsheets together. I'm definitely a people person. And so I just didn't want to be behind the little gray cube typing my way into a spreadsheet day after day. So I decided, I was probably impatient too. I was in my late 20s and I was like, I need real work. I don't want to just do this, and I wasn't willing to put in that, arduous amount of time when it meant that there's people out there to talk to. And I ended up working for First Interstate Bank, of all places. And to me, again, looking back, it was great training ground for customer service to the nth degree. In fact, those of us at First Interstate, as we grew up, we're like, we're better than Nordstrom's. We do everything for our clients. We'll walk them to their safe deposit box, and we'll walk, and we'll go out to the parking lot if they forgot their checkbook and they need help, or, we would just do anything and all things for our clients. And so I think, again, I think my life led me this direction, because when Wells Fargo took over First Interstate as a hostile takeover, and by then I was in management at the branch level. And I was like, I could just see some writing on the wall. It's like, don't give a client or a customer their balance of their checking account. Make them go out and use the ATM for 25-cent fee. Yeah, this was the early 90s. 25-cent fee, right?
That'd be nice.
And I was just appalled. I was like, no, we have to help our clients any way, shape, or form. And so I ended up leaving with a package. I also had a 3-year-old child. And so I was kind of tired of they had just started Saturday banking, which was my child's time. And so there was a lot of things that came up that said, Lisa, leave, go find something else. And so I had about 4 months severance package when I left. And it gave me enough freedom and time to, enjoy my child, 3-year-old, where you're just putting him to bed and picking him up and taking him daycare. I was like, wow, this is cool. I can actually be as much of a mom as I need to be for him. And so that 4 months really gave me some time to think. And I answered an ad to be a financial planning, or I guess a financial representative is what they called you in those days. And I just loved it. I had this little Rolodex from all of my clients from the bank, and there was no compete. Like there was not, at that point, there was no compete clause that I couldn't. And I ended up just taking what I knew in taxes and how people could really benefit, especially if they work for themselves. Tax code was written for business owners. Doesn't matter how big or how small, right? And I could just apply tax knowledge and help them set up like a retirement plan and get them started, even if it was just $50 a month. So to me, it was like I had some solutions that they may not have been exposed to before. They knew me from the banking world, and they understood that I was there to help them. And so the relationship and the trust were already established, and it really just set my course in action, because I'll say even to this day, of our client base, I believe about 80% of them have some sort of self-employment in their lives, whether they work for someone and then they do something on the side, or their ultimate goal is to be 100% self-employed. And so I think just having those aspects of knowing and loving the client and the service, that I could really be extraordinarily high service and touch, lots of engagement with my clients has really just helped our business thrive. And then Financial Girlfriend came about because I was actually I had not been networking very much. And the gal who helped me start the company, Christine Aronson, came along with me. She was a networking monster. I mean, she loved networking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm comfortable, right? And she got me to go to this event in Portland. It was a mixer in the evening, and I put a $20 into the charity for children, and it gave you a ticket to be pulled up on stage impromptu. And I was like, oh, I'll never win that. And I was like one of the first people that got pulled up, but it was a group of about 200 business women.
Wow.
And I got up on stage. I was just so scared. I'm sure my jaw was shaking and my knees were crumbling. And I just said something like, hey, ladies, we're all in business, and we're, making coffee dates and lunch dates. Hell, we even go to the bathroom together, and we're talking about money in your business. Why aren't you talking to your financial girlfriend? And I'll be over by the wine bar. And I got off stage as fast as I could, because I literally did not want to be up there. I was like, how could I have gotten myself into this mess? But that was when Christine tells me that I was struck by lightning, because it really is true. Is I love the financial strategy and solution and finding approachable ways for people to really just, have a good grasp and awareness of their money on a personal or business side. And then I'm the girlfriend. I want everyone to be happy. I want to be able to take care of people. And I also want to give them the straight information and not make it sound like a sales pitch all the time. I think that's probably part of the industry that dissuades people from even thinking that they have the right to work with an advisor, because they think they're going to be sold to, or they don't have enough zeros and commas to even work with an advisor. And I think that's completely wrong. I think anytime someone has income, if you think about it, think about how long someone's going to be working, right, in their normal working career. Well, if you don't even put maybe 2% cost of living on that, say, start out after school and you work, or after college, and you work until your mid 60s, that could be $500,000. That could be $500 million. It just depends, right? So it's like we look at everyone like they're a multi-millionaire. There isn't anyone that doesn't deserve to sit down with us and have answers, questions, and figure out what their next steps are and how they can do all the things that they want to do with whatever resources they have.
Absolutely. So with that, how are you meeting with people right now that
Yeah.
we're being socially distant?
Mhm.
And I'm sure before you were meeting in person over coffee or tea and really
Yeah.
sitting down and going over these and showing probably
Screenshots.
yes, I'm like, what's the word? I'm
Yeah,
drawing
yeah.
a blank. Yeah, so
Technology, yeah, all that stuff.
what are you
Well,
doing differently?
yeah, no, I am definitely the hugger. So that is one thing I can tell you these arms miss. I have my family, thankfully, and my dog probably thinks, I mean, and he probably has a band of hair missing because I'm hugging him so hard, you know. Um, but yes, we are very much about face-to-face interaction. That's been really our brand is events that we hold aren't the typical, you know, events where you're teaching money all the time. We have events like movie night and doing your manicures, and we do all kinds. It's like I always say, this is kind of our golf course. When we think of a cooking class, so I'll bring somebody who's in a chef, and they'll have stuff prepared, and then we can get together, and guys will come. Guys are very much welcome. It's not just only girls, but this, I mean, because you see women out on the golf course, obviously, but we do events that really just make people feel good and really have, like in January, we had what we call a gratitude party. And it was meant for our gratitude to shower upon everyone so that they really understood that it is the support, it is the love, it is the embracing, it's everything that they help us achieve is because of our clients and our community. So you don't have to be a client to come to an event. We just want people to realize that it's a safe place to come to get your questions, but also to have some fun and be playful around it. So one of our other last events is we did crafting, where everybody got to make a bracelet with beads, and then you could put essential oils on the little lava bead.
I
And
think
it
I
was
saw
just,
pictures of that.
yeah, and so I also want to promote other women in business. So I'm not opposed to talking over how do we collaborate. We actually, this Wednesday from 4 to 6, we're going to do a virtual happy hour. And we have a woman who is a distributor for Spirit Horse Vineyards. Now, everybody can bring all their own beverage of choice. But she has an organization that for every membership for the wine club, they actually put money towards a scholarship to help young women out of challenging situations, and they send them for a month to equine camp. So they get to
Awesome.
go hang out with horses, because horses are naturally compassionate and intuitive, and
Very
it just
therapeutic.
helps, yeah, it helps them realize that, you know, there's challenges that they have that the horses actually help them. So anyway, we do everything with and thinking of the community. And so when you ask me, like, how are we meeting with clients? We're doing just this. We're doing Zooms. We're doing Facebook, not lives, but we're doing Facebook, FaceTimes, I guess is what it's called, or Skype, or whatever platform, Google Hangouts, whatever one that they want. You know, we ask for their preference, and if they don't have one, then we have a Zoom account. But you know, I'm hoping that we can, you know, get back to a place where people can come and visit us, or we can do this way. But I like the efficiency, because I can do back-to-back calls and not really feel like I'm working, and yet I'm not having to drive here and get there and park here and all the other things we mentioned. So I really enjoy this and phone calls, and yeah, and again, it's not the typical, like ours are more like you said, it's like a chat. We just want to have a simple conversation. We're not here to explain things over people's heads. We do a lot of education around things that we know, and especially women, we know intuitively. We know how to find a good deal. We know what kind of coupon we need on that coupon. You know, it's like we Google it or Groupon it, and then we try to find the extra 10% if we have a AAA card, right? So we're always looking for ways to help, and sometimes we just want to help women, especially, bring that out of them. You know, they already know it, but I hear a lot, oh, I don't know anything about money, and I don't know what I'm doing, and it's like, I don't blame anyone, because we're not really taught that even in schools. You know, we're not
No.
taught about all the steps that it takes. Like, we do things kind of in silos, right? We open a checking account, so somebody says we need to write a check or we need to pay for a bill. We get a credit card because we need to build credit, but nobody helps us kind of make sure they're lined up and working together. So that's kind of where our forte is really just helping people wherever they're at, whatever stage of the process, is just getting to the next step so that they can feel really confident about their money.
So aside from obviously the first step being to reach out to you to set up one of these virtual meetings right now, what are some other bits of advice or recommendations that you have for our audience today on how to just keep on going through life right now as we're dealing with this challenging situation?
Totally. I really think that, I know we have some money hacks and ideas that we can share with people that they can use right away. I even said to somebody the other day, she's like, she goes, well, she actually started it by saying, you know how much coin I found in my cushions of my couch when I was really deep cleaning the living room? And I'm like, oh, that's an idea. But pop cans, turn in your pop cans. You could do that socially distant. You can, everybody waits their 6 feet, and then you can throw them into the machine and walk out with, if it's any garage like mine, probably $50 worth of pop cans. But, there's some other practical things and things that you can take advantage of by calling your utility companies. Utility companies will do things, what's called an equal pay. So, yeah, you're shaking your head because you understand.
I sign up for those all the time.
Yeah, instead of paying higher in the summer and lower in the winter or whatever, you're in a warm climate, maybe you have the AC on all the time. They look back at your last 12 months and then they just divide it out. And then at that end of the year, they kind of reconcile, but it's usually a reconciliation of a few dollars, not hundreds of dollars. So call your utility companies. I know that Comcast, Xfinity, they're all running deals right now for giving people breaks. They're either skipping a month or you're allowed to defer it out. Anything you can do to save cash now. Put cash in. This is the time, because you're spending less, supposedly, for those of us that are really staying and working from home, but no parking fees.
On that, I know a lot of people are going crazy on Amazon Prime right now. So if you guys are listening, listen to Lisa. She's saying, stop the unnecessary spending right now and save your money.
Right. Here's the thing is we don't know when, it keeps getting extended out. We hope. Oh, now it's July 6th. We're going to wait till July 6th. Then what's going to happen? It could possibly get extended out. We have to think of the worst case scenario. And right now it could be until next year. I don't predict. I'm not a fortune teller, but if that is the case, and that now is the best time to start planning for it. So even if you only save $5 on your gas bill and $4 on your electrical bill or whatever it is, just start stash. This is the time to be a squirrel and squirrel those nuts away like big time. And, in things is like your mortgage payment, and, rent is coming, people are talking about how rent is affecting those that own property, and we rely on that rental income. And call the mortgage company. They are making modifications as we speak because they know this could be drug on longer and longer. So it's much more expensive for a finance company and a loan company to go after you and put you into collections than it is to work with you from the beginning when we're all on the same sheet of music right now, right?
Yeah, get ahead of it.
Yeah, just get ahead of it. Call your cell phone bill. See if there's a better plan. These are times to actually, I have a lady down, she's in Southern Oregon, and she's like, this is just so overwhelming. I said, just do one a week. At least you've got that as a target. Every Monday make a call, and then let the rest of the week, fill it up with other things. But I've been telling this for a while now, and even on our own Facebook page, and we do Money Hack Mondays. And so we just want people to realize that you have control. If that's the only thing you have control over is just your expenses, this is the best time to kind of weed it out so that you know that you've done everything you possibly can to get every one of your reoccurring bills that show up down and down and down. So that's really my biggest takeaway on that one.
That's good. Yeah, I know that we we downsized our Hulu subscription, and that's really the only subscription we have. But we were like, well, we probably don't need the biggest package right now, so let's go ahead and find something better to do with our time than sit and watch TV.
Right.
And that helps, yeah, every little bit. So you mentioned Facebook. You have I'm
Mhm.
sure a lot of our audience are going to want to come see the content that you put out, especially all the free content that they can get, because that's what I always recommend to all of my friends. Get all the free stuff first.
Yes.
So where can they find you and follow you for more information?
Yeah. So our Facebook handle is at My Financial GF for girlfriend.
Okay.
So yeah, that, and then LinkedIn. Those are the two social media platforms that we're allowed to use in our industry right now. I think they allow me to have Twitter, but I just haven't really gotten over there very much. So we
People
only
do
really
that.
subscribe. Yeah. Facebook has been really, though, Facebook and LinkedIn are the best ways that people really find us. Even just Googling my name or the company, a lot of keyword searches. But I always say we do financial plans with heart and compassion, because we also talk about no shame zone. We don't want people to feel shamed or awkward or embarrassed, or we know that there's the anxiety is already built into the equation.
Yeah.
We want to lower that and just really help people realize that it's kind of a confessional, but everything that's said stays here. And we've heard it. We've pretty much heard it all. We've heard anything from, like, I had to put my rent on a Visa card. We've heard that even be pre-pandemic year time frame. So
Mm-hmm.
we do everything as humans as we can to survive. That's what I see. A lot of people are just surviving just to get to the next paycheck or just to get to the next whatever there is in their lives. But we work with people who have very little to the people who have multimillionaires, because I find that even those that have lots of money kind of still do the same thing that other people do by putting it on their credit cards. They just have bigger credit card balances. And so, as a society, as a nation, I just feel that the education is so poor that we have a mass market that we can't stop working with, so.
Well, I'm going to make
The
sure
other
to
thing,
get this out in front of as many people as possible to help
well,
do
I
my
so
part
appreciate that.
educating the world.
Trying to. We're currently licensed in 15 states in the United States. My original written business plan is to be in all 50. I can't wait, because
That's exciting.
we want financial girlfriend centers to be the place where, hey, I wonder if this bill is better, this credit card is better than this one, or, should I lease or buy a car? All those kind of questions are ones that we already get with clients. I don't feel that anyone doesn't deserve the best information right from wherever source they want. But we want to be good resources, and we want to give them the straight scoop. And then we'll even work with their own financial planners. Like, some people might have stockbroker. We'll work with them. Somebody might have, CPA or an attorney. We'll talk to those folks and get everybody onto the page. So I always see myself as kind of the sous chef. I'm not the head chef. I'm the sous chef. I'm the one kind of making sure all the things work together in the background. So
I love it. It's important to have an entire team,
yes.
and that the team is communicating, because it takes a lot of stress off of
Yeah.
us. And especially, we're not well knowledge in that industry. That's why we hire professionals and ask for help. So
exactly.
But Lisa, before we go, I wanted to ask, what is a good book or podcast that you recommend for the audience to listen to during these times?
Well, you'd think it'd be financial, but it really isn't. Right now I was listening to, it was one of the first podcasts that I've ever been asked to be interviewed on, and it's called She's Hungry, and Kate Pearson, and it's CAIT Pearson. She is a little battery dynamo. She's got so much energy, and she is so just full of life and thoughtfulness, and she's just she brings on the most interesting people. It hasn't always been women. At first, I think she started off with women, but she's brought on really fascinating people that just have done really cool things. So And it's kind of about that drive. So She's Hungry is like, how hungry are you to do that passionate thing?
Ooh.
And she's also a food photographer originally, but she's spreading out her photography and all the different photography things that she's done. So she's just a really cool lady. I love her to pieces. She's awesome. So that's a really good podcast. Like I said, if you just want life interesting things and people who have had challenges that have overcome and how they overcame those different challenges is, that to me is kind of the feel good stories of the day, which is nice. The book that I just read at Christmas, and I tend to only read books on vacation. So the one I just put down was Jodi Picoult wrote Small Great Things. And the word small great things came from Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And it's about racism. And it's about at this current day racism, and a storyline that follows a woman who's a nurse, and she puts herself and then gets into a precarious situation in an emergency at the hospital. And so so I won't even say anymore. It's a fascinating read, especially when you think of I don't think of myself as a racist, but there are things that are pointed out in this book that I say as a white person that I'm like, oh my God, that's not the intention. And I realized that I should not say that anymore. And so I was just, as I was reading this book, it was so compelling to keep reading. The storyline kept developing, but I was just like, it was fascinating on so many different levels, which was cool.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I'm going to definitely put that one on my Libby list. I love the fact that the library has a digital
version.
Yeah,
it's a great book. She's a great writer. I mean, that was the first introduction I had to her, but she's written 20 plus books of all kinds of different topics. She and I got to see her in action, come to Portland and speak to an auditorium. It's called Voices. It's a 4-part series where the woman who runs it is Francine Reed. She brings 4 women of just, again, different backgrounds and histories and experiences and different professions, and she brings them and they get to speak to us. And when Jodi came into town, she spoke about what she does to prepare herself to write a book. She actually does literally a year to 2 years worth of research before she even starts writing a draft. And so the process of her becoming a writer was just it's all great stuff. I think everybody who does really fun things just needs that kind of attention, because it's worth watching and seeing people really thrive and do well.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me today for my new series on YouTube. It's been really fun getting to know you more, and I'm looking forward to setting up an appointment with you and talking about finances. You had something that you wanted to offer the audience.
Sure. A money hack. So we have this little sheet, 1-page sheet that we can hand out, or we can send it through however they need to. But it looks like a bulletin board with Post-it notes, and it just has little ways to save money, or ways that you could do things a little bit differently and save a lot of money. So one of those is like, right now, it probably can't happen during the quarantine, but think about swapping out clothes than just shopping for new clothes, because I can't tell you how many things I probably still have price tags on in the back of my closet. And, so get a group together and pile the clothes in the middle, and everybody gets to pick out. And so just, ways. Okay, so I like people, if you can't tell. I'm always thinking of ways to bring people together and doing cool things that is it's not the normal just drinking wine and eating cheese, although that is always part of our events, but it's not the sole purpose, We always want to have intention and bringing people together on purpose, so.
Good. And how can they get that? Do you have that on a website? I know you sent it to me in an email.
Yeah, they could either direct message me through Facebook, or I can send it to you if they want to touch bases with you. And our website is currently, actually at 3:00 today, I have a final draft of my website that we're going over, and then I'll get it. I'm trying to get it out as fast as possible, but we really have been so blessed to be able to not need a website until we opened up our Los Angeles office location. And so now I'm doing the work to get the website going. So that will be up very, very soon. But yeah, LinkedIn or Facebook has all of our phone numbers and emails. There's currently 4 of us in this company. 3 of us are licensed, and the other one is our operations director. So any way they see us online, they can get our phone number, office line, emails, whatever. It's Lisa at My Financial Girlfriend is to reach me. So anything that they want, we'll try to provide for them. So
we'll make sure they get it. They reach out, definitely. All
okay.
right. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to TnT Talks today. Be sure to subscribe, hit like, and ring that notification bell so you can get notified when our next interview comes up. Thanks again, Lisa.
Thanks, Christina.